Hey, thanks so much for finding the video. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. Be sure to leave your comments. We love to interact. Enjoy the video. Let's start with a pretty obvious one, man. How did you make the decision to return?
Well, I'm pretty sure like the LSU fan base and everybody knows about this, but my father passed recently, and it's been a heavy decision weighing on my heart lately and in the past 2 months. If you would have asked me 2 months ago, I would have never thought that I'd be in this position to come back and make as much money as I can, especially with the NIL going on and this and that. But just in the past 2 months, it's been I've been shown a crazy amount of love for the Tiger fan base and Louisiana. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody from Louisiana for sending their condolences and showing love.
Hey, man, our sincere condolences. I know this is the first time we've had a chance to speak. So I think, as you just very eloquently stated there, man, I think everybody who supports LSU and certainly knows what happened with your dad certainly offer our sincere and deepest condolences. And so for you, man, you go through this life-changing thing, right? I mean, you go through a life-changing tragedy, and then you also, it comes at a pretty integral part where you're looking at the next phase of your baseball career in your life, and then there's a coaching change. So if you would walk us through what that was like for you personally when Pulmonary was out, and then here comes Jay Johnson. What was that time like for you?
Just like I said, I would have never thought I'd be in this position to come back to LSU. I didn't know who we had specifically on the lines of coming back and taking control of the reins of LSU's baseball program. But once I did hear that Jay was coming over, I like what he did with the program over at Arizona. He had a lot of success. Maneri was just coming off of a very long streak of a great program and a premier program, and it was mind-boggling at first. But once I heard that Jay was coming, and we had our first conversation, what really sold me on him was him being such a genuine person, and I could see right through to his core of who he actually was as a person. He cares a lot about student athletes and the players that'll be coming to his program. So in that first conversation, he didn't even ask me anything about baseball until probably at an hour mark into our conversation, and it seemed like he really just cared about my mental health and how my family was doing. So that was the first key part of making my decision to come back to LSU. And then I got to talk to Jason Kelly, the pitching coach that's coming in, and he seemed just as genuine as Jay. And I rolled with that decision.
Ma'Khail Hilliard is our guest. So let me ask you about Jason Kelly. You elaborated a good bit there on your hour-long conversation with Jay Johnson. What about Jason Kelly? What have those conversations been like?
Well, he dug into how they had the players, the pitchers throwing over at Arizona and the pitching rotation and their routines and things like that. And it sounded like everything that I really wanted to come back and shoot for, especially coming back. My thought process on this was my dad he had always told me every day, you're going to leave LSU a legacy. You're going to leave LSU a legend. You're one of the best to do it. And that seed was planted in my mind this whole time. And I still feel like I have something to prove coming back. And we're both on the same wavelength and same wavelength in records to that. So I really like what he put down, his plan, and what he plans on doing with the pitching staff.
So I would imagine that they're going to give you the opportunity to be a starter, considering how last year went. And you correct me if I'm wrong, but you just seem so much more comfortable in that role as a starting pitcher.
Yes, sir. I throughout the past 4 years at LSU, I felt very good in any given particular role that they put me in. I've been a starter my freshman year. I came in relief, middle relief, long relief, short relief, and as a closer. So I felt very comfortable, and I wasn't going you know knock anybody in the starting rotation last year. So I mean, coming back next year, I definitely feel way more comfortable as a starter. I found my groove the past 2 or 3 years, and and I'm just excited, man. Excited to get back on that bump and show LSU what I'm about.
Did the coaches talk to you about where in the rotation they may foresee you? Is it a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type deal? Did they have that conversation?
We haven't dug too deep into it, but I would like to think that Jay wants me to be the Friday night guy, and just seeing how I progress throughout the fall, I think I can definitely secure that spot.
Ma'Khail Hilliard's, I guess, for a couple more minutes. Every player that I've spoken with, and candidly, a lot of the parents as well around the program, have all kind of talked about the energy, and not necessarily that change is good for change's sake. It's just different, but the energy and the mood and the vibe around the program feels so different, which I think is to be expected when you have a change this seismic for the first time in 15 years. But if I asked you to describe what's the biggest change that you've noticed in obviously a relatively short amount of time from the end of the season since Jay Johnson has been introduced, how would you describe the biggest change that you've noticed around the program?
A lot more. I mean, obviously being at LSU, with their platform, you get a lot of attention, but I feel like even more attention is being poured into the LSU because of the recent changes, and uh, that energy is all love and congratulations and celebration. So that's the biggest change I've seen recently.
And Ma'Khail, you also mentioned at the start of our conversation about NIL, and every guy that I've had on the program since the NIL legislation passed, I've asked something about this just because it's so new for all of us, right? And I'm just curious a lot about what you guys are thinking and where your headspace is. But what do you think for you the NIL opportunity means for a baseball player at LSU, or even for you personally?
Well, coming to SEC school like LSU, or even any schools and different conferences with this type of platform, uh, uh, 300 to how many ever thousands of followers on Instagram and social media platforms, we're going to be able to use that for so many more things, and so many doors have opened up to us to be able to be as successful as possible and be financially stable. So us putting our names out there and having our own brands, that is huge. That's a game changer right there. And we've been, I mean, collegiate athletes and professionals even have been looking forward to this for a long time. And now that the time has come, our fruits are going to come to fruition, and I'm just so excited for this. I have some things in the work. I've been talking to a couple brands and about endorsements and things like that. So I'm ready. I'm gas to the pedal at this point. Try to get it in as quickly as possible.
I mean, feel free, and I mean, I extend this opportunity to any athlete that comes on. If you're working with a brand, if there's somebody you want to shout out and use this opportunity to do so, feel free. If you don't want to, it's fine. But if there's someone you want to mention, feel free.
Well, there are a lot of local brands that I would love to get the opportunity to do business with. Red Stick Sports Academy, Walk-Ons, Mike Anderson's, a lot of the local food restaurants like Sammy's Bar and Grill. I already have something in the works with them, but I'd like to continue doing work with them and be able to get the kids to come out and take pictures, sign autographs, things like that. Because as an athlete, you when you're going through life changes in college and you're maturing, you start to understand that you're bigger than baseball, and your platform that you can reach to so many little kids and future kids that want to be in the big leagues in the future. It means a lot just knowing that they have the opportunity to come out and see us and talk to us.
Did you think you'd spend 5 years at LSU?
I did not. I did not. Never. I that was not the first thought in my head coming to LSU. But I mean, I'm here. Like I said, I talked to when I talked to the new pitching coach, Jason Kelly. I feel like I'm in uncharted waters. I've never been here before, but one thing is for sure: whenever I am in situations like this is where I perform the best.
He is Ma'Khail Hilliard. Man, it's been a pleasure watching you pitch during your time at LSU. Wish you congratulations on your decision and all the luck in the future, man. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes here today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you to Matt Moscona and everybody. Thank you to the LSU. Just thank you to everybody, man. I love y'all.
For sure, man. I think everybody feels that. All the best, man. We'll be in touch, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.